Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope you're all doing great, and we are beginning with a new story today. It's The Door of Unrest. So let's begin. I sat an hour by sun in the editor's room of the Montopolis Weekly Bungle. I was the editor. The saffron rays of the declining sunlight filtered through the corn stalks in Misaja with Widup's garden patch and cast an amber glory upon my paste pot. I sat at the editorial desk in my non-rotary revolving chair. And prepared my editorial against the oligarchies. The room, with its one window, was already a prey to the twilight. One by one, with my trenchant sentences, no idea, I looped off, actually, the heads of the political hydra. It's an animal, right? From ancient stories. While I listened, full of kindly peace, to the homecoming cowbells and wondered what Mrs. Flanagan was going to have for supper. Then in from the dusky, quiet street there drifted and perched himself upon a corner of my desk old Father Time's younger brother. His face was beardless and as gnarled as an English walnut. I never saw clothes such as he wore. They would have reduced Joseph's coat to a monochrome, but the colors were not the dyer's. Satins and patches and the work of sun and rust were responsible for the diversity. On his coarse shoes was the dust. Conceivably, I met this word before, but I didn't translate it, so conceivably of 1,000 leagues. I can describe him no further, except to say that he was little and weird and old I began to estimate in centuries when I saw him. Yes, and I remember that there was an odor, a faint odor like aloes, or possibly like myrrh, M-I-R-R-H, myrrh, or leather, and I thought of museums. And then that's a long story. And then I reached for a pad and pencil, for a business is business. And visits of the oldest inhabitants are sacred and honorable, requiring to be chronicled. I'm glad to see you, sir, I said. I would offer you a chair. But, you see, sir, I went on, I have lived in Montopolis only 3 weeks, and I have not met many of our citizens. I turned a doubtful, doubtful eye upon his dust-stained shoes and concluded with a newspaper phrase, "I suppose that you reside in our midst, midst." My visitor fumbled in his raiment, drew forth a soiled card, and handed it to me. Upon it was written in plain but unsteadily formed characters, characters. The name, Make Hope Adder. I'm glad you called, Mr. Adder, I said. As one of our older citizens, you must view the pride, the recent growth and enterprise of monopolies. Among other improvements, I think I can promise that a town will now be provided with live, enterprising newspaper. Do you know the name of the card? Asked my caller, interrupting me. It is not a familiar one to me, I said. Again, he visited the depths of his ancient vestments. This time, sounds like investments, but investments without N. This time he brought out a torn leaf or some book or journal, brown and filmy with age. The heading of the page was the Turkish Spy in Old Style type. The printing upon it was this. Here's the printing. There is a man come to Paris in the year 1643 who pretends to have lived these 1600 years. He says of himself that he was a shoemaker in Jerusalem, and at the time of the crucifixion, that his name is Make Hope Adder, and that when Jesus, the Christian Messiah, was condemned by Pontius Pilate, the Roman president, he paused the rest while bearing his cross to the piece of crucifixion. Crucifixion before the door of Make Hope Adder. The shoemaker struck Jesus with his first fist, saying, "Go, why tarriest thou? Tarriest. The Messiah answered him, I indeed am going, but thou shalt tarry until I come, shalt tarry. Thereby condemning him to live until the day of judgment. He lives forever, but at the end of every 100 years, he falls into a fit of trance, on recovering from which he finds himself in the same state of youth in which he was when Jesus suffered, being then about 30 years of age. Such is the story of the wandering Jew, as told by Make Hope Adder, who relates. Here's the printing ended. I must have muttered something to myself about the wandering Jew, for the old man spake up, bitterly and loudly. "'Tis a lie," said he, "like 9/10 of what ye call history. 'Tis a gentile I am, and no Jew. I'm after footing it out of Jerusalem, my son, but if that makes me a Jew, then everything that comes out of a bottle of baby's milk. Yeah, have my name on the card, yeah, hall, and ye have read the bit of paper they called the Turkish spy that printed the news when I stepped into their office on the 11th day of June, in the year, in the 12th day of June, in the year 1643, just as I have called upon you today." I laid down my pencil and pad. Clearly, it would not do. Here was an item for the logical column of Bagul. That, but it would not do. Still, fragments of the impossible personal began to fleet through my conventionalized conven- conventionalized brain. Uncle My Hope is as spry on his spry, not spy, spry on his legs as a young chap of only 1,000 or so. Our venerable caller relates with the pride that no, Ptolemy the Great once dandled him on his knee at his father's house. Uncle My Hope says that our wet spring was nothing in comparison with the damp, damp, dampness that ruined the crops around Mount Ararat when he was a boy. But no, it would not do. Alright, guys, we're gonna pause till tomorrow and continue then. Thank you for joining to me today and see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.